Hello and welcome to On the Wrist. Today we have the Vero Workhorse Chronograph, and this is the track day color combination. I haven't done a quartz watch on this channel in quite a while, and I felt like it was time to break that streak. This watch is very unique in design. It's really captured my attention, and it has an incredible warranty attached to it, as well as some really solid design details, which we'll get into later. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Alright, let's pull the technical specs up on the side here. So dimensionally, we have 44 millimeters in diameter, quite large, but we'll get to that in a bit. The lug-to-lug is 49.5. It does have this really great NATO strap with all this Velcro on it, which makes it quite easy even though it's a larger watch. The lug width is 20 millimeters. The thickness is 13.5 millimeters thick. That is kind of chunky, as you can see. The crystal is a sapphire crystal with anti-reflective coating, which is great to see. The movement is the Miyota 6S21 quartz movement. It has a battery life of about 3 years, accuracy of plus or minus 20 seconds per month. And while it's not a mecha quartz movement, it does have a very positive press for these chronograph pushers, which it's specifically designed to do. The minute subdial does snap back. The central second hand for the chronograph ticks at 4 beats per second. The inner bezel is rotating, so if you unscrew this crown here, you can rotate the inner bezel for additional timing. One thing I'm not a total fan of is, while I like this inner rotating bezel and I like all the details on it except the 12 o'clock marker, this circle, it makes it kind of hard to line up just right. It would have been, I can kind of use these 5-minute markers as my guide, but it would have been nice to have maybe just a little bit of a straight line coming off that to help line it up, so after I use it I can get it back to exactly 12. And this watch is rated for 120 meters of water resistance. And as you can see here, there's a little bit of lume around the dial. Let's get a couple shots on the wrist. So here we have it on my 7 1/4 inch wrist, and it certainly has some wrist presence. It is a very large watch with a fairly thick thickness. But I gotta say, with this type of Velcro strap, it was not hard at all to get a perfect fit, and I actually quite like how it looks on the wrist. 13.5 is thick, but if you're out hiking or something like that, it's not too obtrusive, and overall I'm just loving how it catches that light. And here we have it in some natural light, but quickly, let's check what time it is. It looks like it's time to like and subscribe. Subscribing to the channel really helps me push out new content, and liking the video helps it with the YouTube algorithm. Really appreciate your support, but let's get back to the review. A few design details that I really want to highlight. There's this black, they call it bullhorn bar, which adds an interesting dimension to the watch, but one of my favorite things about this watch is actually the dial itself. There's been a lot of attention paid to these details and the differences in each of the surfaces. So when you look through this camera, you can see there's a lot of different levels. It's not just one flat face, one flat dial. The bezel has a slope inwards. The second hand tracker around the inside edge is 2 colors with different colored second indicators versus 5-second increments. The subdials are recessed, and the center of the face there has this slope up to the center circle. It really has a beautiful face, and that's what attracted me to this watch in the first place, was just so much detail in this part of the watch. And additionally, I absolutely love chronograph pushers that are rectangular. I'm not a huge fan of the circular ones, although they're fine, but buttons really are what I enjoy visually as well as operationally. And this one just has such a positive press. If we stop it there, we'll snap it back. On the minute hand, the second hand will do a full rotation. You can see that minute hand there snapped right back. But the action of these buttons is so pleasant to use, very easy with the large buttons, and I also love that they're different colors. That's one thing that's great about this watch, is the variety of colors on it, and just the overall aesthetic. It's a well put together look, and everywhere you look, there's details that you can enjoy. Now, one thing about this watch too that I find kind of shocking. When I opened it up, I couldn't believe it. And it's not a surprise on the watch itself. What it's a surprise on is The documentation that comes with it talks about there is a 10-year, no questions asked warranty, battery exchanges included. That is a warranty. Things like my Tudor only have a 5-year warranty, but this has 10 years, no questions asked, and including battery exchanges really is a nice touch. The battery life is about 3 years on the watch, so theoretically over 10 years you maybe need 3, maybe 4 battery changes, and it's a nice thing to include. Just shows there's a lot of faith in their product for being, as it's called, a workhorse. And with a warranty like that, you can be safe and sure to bring this anywhere and do anything. Now let's talk MSRP and value. MSRP of this watch is $425. So for that, you're getting the quartz movement, you're getting 120 meters of water resistance, comes on the NATO style strap with the Velcro, has the sapphire crystal with anti-reflective coating, and for $425, it does feel slightly on the pricier end, but where I like how this watch sits is the attention to detail on all the design features. The rectangular pushes with a very positive action, the details on the dial itself, really well executed, and that's where I think it holds pretty good at the $425. Solid features and well executed design makes it competitive at that price point. But what do you think of this watch? What about all these colors and these rectangular pushers? Do you like that design? Do you think that's a fair price? Let me know down in the comments below. I'd love to hear what you have to say. So that's all from me today. This has been On The Wrist. Thank you for watching.